Hey man, the FabFilter Pro-Q4 is easily the most overhyped plugin of the year, and we just getting started. But don't get me wrong, man. Look, FabFilter makes amazing plugins, and for years already, the FabFilter Pro-Q3 has been a must-have plugins for pretty much every engineer and producer that I've come across. Like, you just gotta have that joint, right? But the FabFilter Pro-Q4 has been introduced, and it has a lot of new features, like almost just too many features for an EQ plugin. It ain't even an EQ plugin. I'm looking at the FabFilter Pro-Q4 now as more of a channel strip. So look, if you're looking for a video that is going to break down every single new feature of the FabFilter Pro-Q4, this ain't it. In this video, I'm going to show you new ways to think about using that FabFilter Pro-Q4 that you may not have thought about. And I'm going to break down 3 of my top features that actually help to change the way I mix, helping me to get better mixes a whole lot faster. Now, with all these new features, I'm actually looking at the Pro-Q4 as more of a channel strip. And let's just take a little step back down memory lane, right? There are benefits to working in the analog domain, like using consoles. People use them for so many reasons. One of the reasons is that you have all of the controls that you need readily available. That's another reason why I sell my templates, is because using a template in a session literally gives you controls quickly so that you can easily be able to grab them, make the moves that you want, and work across multiple channels at once. With some of the new features in the FabFilter Pro-Q4, we can execute in that same manner. Not only that, another benefit of working in the analog domain is that you actually have some character, some warmth, some different, energy that's being put into the sound by the electronics. So using the FabFilter Pro-Q4, I'm going to break down, first off, one of my new features is the character modes. Now, this character modes lets you impart some analog warmth and character into your EQ just by turning that character mode on. So one of the first things that I recommend is going ahead and putting that FabFilter Pro-Q4 pretty much across every track in your session and having it there. Now, if you're saying, yo, look, why would I put it on every track before I use it? Well, if you ever seen a console, you've seen it's got an EQ on every track, whether you use it or not. So again, just having that feature there and available to you so that you can quickly grab it is going to be a game changer and make it very beneficial and quick for you to use. And going along with some of the other features in the Pro-Q4, you'll see why I want to put it on every track in the beginning of a session. So I have a mix laid out here, and let's just take a listen to it. Shout out to K-Love, I should say, for sponsoring this track or giving us this track so that we can work on today. Let's just take a listen to a little bit of this hook section. All I did was some simple level and panning. You see, I didn't do much, but let's just listen to what we have right now before we do anything. All right, so you got an idea of where the track is. So listen, first thing I want to do is select all the tracks, or even just hold the option key, right? I'm gonna just hold the option key down, and this is gonna allow me to put the same plugin across every track in my session. If you have tracks that you don't want to put it on, then just select the tracks that you want to put this EQ on, the FabFilter Pro-Q4 on, and you can hold the shift and option keys to only apply it to those tracks. But in my case, like I said, I don't have anything in here that I don't necessarily want to put it on, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on every track. Now, where am I gonna put it? I always like to start off on my second insert slot, just in case I want to do any processing before this. Sometimes I might want to do some auto tune or even some compression or anything like that. So I'm gonna just leave my top slot open and put the FabFilter Pro-Q4 over my second slot. So I'm gonna hold shift and option, click on my second slot of inserts here, and then let's just go to Pro-Q4 right here. Boom, FabFilter Pro-Q4. And you'll see that that goes across every channel. Let me make sure that this gets it too. All right, because these are mono now. Boom. So first of all, just looking at the Pro-Q4, it looks just like the Pro-Q3, but all of the features are pretty much hidden. We ain't gonna worry about that right now. Another thing that you want to do to just make this easy for you, if you go over to your groups list in Pro Tools, and if you're working in another DAW, sorry about this, you got to figure that out on your own. But over in the groups list, I'm going to go ahead and right click to modify the all group. The all group groups every single channel in your session so that you can manipulate them all at once, right? Every single one. So when in the all group, I'm gonna just go to the attributes channel, the attributes tab inside of the modify the all group, right? And then I just want to make sure that insert B, the controls on insert B, and also the bypass on insert B are activated. This is gonna just make it very easy for me to change one plugin and have all the plugins change at the same time. So I'm gonna hit OK, and boom, now the all group is active, and you'll see if I just open up a couple of these plugins that if I do one thing on one plugin, it'll happen across all of the plugins on this insert in my section. Now, if you like that feature right there alone, just go ahead and like and thumbs up this video if you already learned something. So basically what I want to do here now is go down to the bottom right here, this new little control. These are our character modes. So we have the choice between clean, which is going to be just like a standard EQ, a digital EQ that we're using in our DAW. It's not going to have any character or anything. It's just super clean, right? That's not necessarily what I want. I actually want to go with a warm setting. I like this warm one. The subtle, it's still subtle, and the warm is subtle too, but it's going to add some nice character. So let's just listen to what that warm setting does just by turning it on, and we'll bypass and take the bypass off, and instantly you will hear that we're getting some characteristics, some warming analog characteristics that we typically would get simply just by running our mix through an analog console. I can hear the difference already. Let's bypass. That kick is less punchy. Everything is kind of sitting back. And if you're worried about your CPU processing by using so many instances of the Pro-Q4, don't worry about that, because A, you get to also save on using saturation plugins. You might not even need to add additional saturation because we now have saturation across every channel. And if you didn't know, the benefit to using saturation most of the time is gonna come as a cumulative effect, meaning you're using multiple instances of saturation, like on a console. Each channel is adding its own flavor, and as they add up, that's what creates that natural glue on the track. Let's just hear it before and after one more time. That's insane, man. So I didn't do anything, and the mix already sounds better. All I did was insert that Pro-Q4 on every track, and I activated the warm characteristics. Now let's just hear the subtle characteristics in comparison. That's cool too. I actually like that, and you can feel it, but I like that big warm feeling, especially for this song. I think it's dope. All right. Now, before we dive into making any changes, it's going to be super important for you to go over to your groups list and turn off that all group. And let's take a look at the next feature that I like. The next feature that I want to show y'all is going to be this new instance list. Now, this instance list will actually show you every instance that you have of the Pro-Q4 in your session, all in this one pane. So I don't have to go around skipping between plugins to actually start to do my mix. So I can get started really quickly, just like I was on a console, like very quickly. I have the controls right at my fingertips. So as this song is playing, let me just click on this. You can see each track. They had a name on it, right? Each track is named. So this is another reason for us to make sure that we have appropriate track naming. And then once this is playing, you'll see in some areas on some tracks, there'll be like a little red area. That's like a problem area of potentially build frequencies that build up. So what we can do is kind of using our ears and also our eyes. Yes, I'm telling you, use your eyes for this too. And then, but use your ears to make the decision. You can easily see where there might be some problem areas or even frequencies that are overlapping, and easily fix it with some broad EQ stroke moves right here from this window, so I can control every instance of my Pro-Q4 right here without having to close this plugin and open another one. And I can even see how each channel relates to the other. So let's take a look at these background vocals for a second. So in this section where I had this background vocal, right, we can see that these background vocals kind of starting to build up some resonance all around the same area. Let's just clean that up to open up that section when those backgrounds come in. I'm just click and make a little attenuation. Right? And by those frequencies not masking each other, we start to make some difference. Right, and I'm hearing that the piano has a little mud in it, so I can just easily kind of scroll over to where my piano is and open that up. And so we have a little build up here on my bass, kind of in the same frequency range as my kick. I'll just do a little bit of make it dynamic. And it's really dope because now, I mean, this ain't a new feature, but just as easy as that, you see, I just right clicked on that node there, on that band, and I made it dynamic, which is going to, instead of just compressing it completely, only once that note is kind of exceeding the threshold, will it do some attenuation, which is dope. So my bass still sounds nice and full, but at the same time, opening up that low end a little bit to give some room for the punch of that kick. Right? So far the FabFilter Pro-Q4 is pretty dope. Now, let's jump over to my vocal, right? This is somewhere where obviously we want to pay a lot of attention. And again, like I said, I'm using this as like a channel strip. So maybe one of the first things that I want to do is actually compress this vocal. Right? And so, well, actually I want to roll off some of that low end, right? And I'm hearing that the top end of this vocal actually needs to come up a little bit. And most of the problems that are happening in this vocal is happening in that low mid range. So what I can actually do is let's create two little frequency band nodes here. And what I want to do here is actually just use a form of, it's kind of like multi-band compression, to where I'm going to have a band here on my low end. Let's just expand that so we can see, right? So my low mids is going to have one band, and then I'll have another band for my high mids, right? And I'm just boosting and cutting it so we can see it a little bit. And then I'm going to make this dynamic. so that the low end gets compressed. And maybe I want to make this dynamic and actually expand the high end at the same time. Right? Instantly that vocal has opened up. Let's just bypass that and hear it before. Awesome. So I'm doing some expansion on my top end while compressing the lower mid frequencies of this vocal, and it's really just opening it up. And all I did so far was just use this one plugin, man. Now I want to just add a bonus little feature, because a lot of times we overcomplicate stuff like mid-side processing, which I think that the FabFilter Pro-Q3 and the Pro-Q4 does really well. So an instrument that I might want to do this on. Let's do this guitar track. Right? So inside this guitar, what I want to do is actually, I want to make sure that the guitar is heard, because there's some like top end frequencies that I want to actually get to come out of this mix a little bit more. So I want to actually get a little bit more of like that 1K area of that guitar to shine a little bit more. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to add a band just simply by clicking, and you can add up to 24 bands in this plugin. Hopefully you won't need that many. But if I come down here, I have the stereo linking. So since it's a stereo track for this guitar, I can say, hey, you know what? Let's just affect the sides. And maybe I'm just going to bring up those mid-range frequencies only on the sides. And I'm going to do that. That way it kind of wraps around my vocal. And instead of like being in the center channel where I want the vocal to really live, I can just boost some of these frequencies of that guitar around the sides. All right, let's hear it in the mix. Right, and so now we're starting to hear some of that guitar come alive. And then I'll do another thing, because sometimes when you working on mid side, it's pretty dope, and you can get this nice wide effect by kind of dipping the mids or doing inverse operations. So if I boost a frequency range in the sides, if I dip them out in the mids, then it'll help to create like a little widening effect. But it's not going to be exact same range, but I'm going to do this, and then instead of this being sides, let's go to the mid here. And now I have control over the mids, and I'm going to drop that like that 1K area in the mids to just open it up. So we can hear if I boost it, it starts to interfere with that vocal. In this way, we can hear it on the sides. Right, and then you can even, of course, make it spectral, and this will, instead of using the dynamics on this entire band, it will just target those certain frequencies that need to be attenuated. And then, of course, from any channel, we can just take it back and then see how everything else is doing, right? I can see that this little organ sound called Boys Choir has a little bit too much low. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of all your compressors or anything, But yes, we've just done a lot with just one plugin, man. The FabFilter Pro-Q4 can really change the way that you mix, allowing you to work a whole lot faster and achieve the results that you are looking for, man. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you will be changing the way you mix because of the FabFilter Pro-Q4. Will you be using any of these character modes? To me, that's my favorite thing. I'm going to do this every single time. Put the Pro-Q4 on all the channels, activate that character mode, and instantly now I'm mixing in console style. And I love that ability to jump from instance to instance without having to leave the plugin, man. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyProAudio.com. Hope this video has been helpful for you. If you new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, man. Be dope.